I'm Susan Berkley with the Inside Voiceover video training blog, and this week we're going to talk about your voiceover scripts. I've got some great tips for you on how to read them better, because the first thing is you got to make sure you understand what they're trying to say. You never know what's going to show up in a script, and sometimes it might not make sense. So don't assume anything. Call the client or your agent, or look online, do some research if you're not clear what it is you're talking about. Because if you don't know, the listener's not going to know. Good old Google and even YouTube is going to help you. Next, you want to make sure you properly pronounce the name of the product or what you're advertising. Again, we always go on Google, look for pronunciations, and YouTube as well. So often what companies will do is have their product featured on YouTube. They might have a media person talking about it. And you know what? If neither of those is a good solution, just pick up the phone and call the company. You'll hear the way they answer, how they pronounce the name. It's really simple and it works. Third thing you want to do is figure out where you're going to breathe when you're reading the script. You don't want to be grabbing breaths any old place. The proper place to breathe in a script is at the end of a thought, which may or may not be at the end of a sentence or a comma. So plan that out ahead of time, plan your breaths, and mark the copy accordingly. Next, you're going to read it aloud several times before you even start to record. That will help you get warmed up. That will help you smooth the readout. And finally, load it into your tablet and get ready to read. We love to use a tablet because you don't have page turn noises. And even though it's a little more difficult to mark the script, it's the most cost-effective and the greenest way to do a voiceover. So that's this week's video. I'm Susan Berkley, and I'll be back next week with more Inside Voiceover. Hi, I'm Susan Berkley with the Inside Voiceover video training blog. I got a question for you this week. Do you make these 7 audition mistakes? Now, before I tell you what they are, I just want to kind of do a little disclaimer, because if you're depending on auditions to grow your voiceover business, you're in trouble. I'm really sorry to tell you. In the old days, that's how people got work. Today, you have got to cultivate your own clients, because if you're going into the fray and on those pay-to-play sites doing hundreds and hundreds of auditions, hoping you'll somehow strike it rich, it just is not going to happen. So here's how I look at it, because I audition too. I have agents. I look at auditions like playing the lottery. Sometimes you hit it, so that's why I do them. But the majority of my work is through clients I get following my mic to money method, which we teach here at greatvoice.com. But first, let's talk about auditions, because you should do them. Every now and then you might book something. We want to make sure yours don't get deleted. So mistake number 1 is poor audio quality. Is there hiss? Is there hum? Is the volume too soft? Is it too loud? Is it distorted? You got to get that dialed in. All your auditions must be broadcast quality, as if these were real spots that ran on the air. Number 2 is, are you sounding like an announcer? Are you talking like this? Right? But that won't cut it either. Everybody wants conversational, real sounding voiceovers. So mistake number 2 is an announcer voice. That's got to go. Mistake number 3 is actually reading the script. You sound like you are reading the script and not talking to us. That won't cut it either. So if that's the case, you need to have a little bit more training so you can do a voiceover like it's normal, naturally flowing conversation. Mistake number 4 is you have no relationship to the listener. There's always somebody on the other side of the microphone, and you got to make that person up. You don't see them, obviously. They're imaginary. You're alone in your studio, but there's another person there. So you better have that relationship, just like I have with you right now, so that everything you say is intended for the other person, right? You make that connection. Number 5 is playing it too safe. An audition is where you can be bold. You should take a chance, because the purpose of an audition is to actually stand out from the crowd, not to do it right or play it safe. So here's where you take a chance. If you get the gig, then they can tone you down and direct you. You want to be the one that they notice. Number 6 is you're too tense. Relax your shoulders, your breathing. Take a yoga class to learn how to relax. And number 7 is you have no point of view. What do I mean by that? You don't know where this voiceover is taking place. You haven't thought about where the place is. Is it in a house? Are we in a store? Are we in your car? Are you inside my head? That's what I mean by point of view. So with these 7 tips, your chances of booking an audition are greatly increased. And when you book something, I want to know about it. Just drop me a line and be sure you leave me a comment here. Susan Berkley, and we'll be back next week with more Inside Voiceover.